Hey everyone, welcome again to the Delmont Bible Study, where each and every week we dive into God's precious and perfect world. The past several weeks we have been in the book of Luke, and last week we met a centurion, somebody of high stature, who's had a servant who was sick and enlisted his faith and trust into Jesus Christ, and his servant, through his faith, was healed. As this week we are in Luke 7, and we're going to start in verse 11, and we're going to go all the way through verse 35. So we're going to cover a lot of ground today, so just hang with us and let's do it. Soon after he went to the town of Naum, the disciples, and a great crowd went with him. As they were drawing near the gates of the town, behold, a man who had died was being carried out, the only son of a mother, and she was a widow. And a considerable crowd from the town was with her. And when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her. He said to her, "Do not weep." Then he came up and touched. Depending on your translation, it could mean different. So I have casket. And Jesus said, "Young man, I say to you, rise." And the dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother. Fear seized all them, and they glorified God by saying, "A great prophet has risen from among us, and God has visited his people." And this report about him spread throughout the whole of Judea and the surrounding country. This is an awesome story. So we've had other stories that we've gone through in the past, and the common link in all these stories was faith, that these people had faith in Jesus Christ, that he was the only one who could save them. And so if we know qualities of Christ, we know that Christ loves and has deep sympathy for orphans and also for widows. And it doesn't really come out. We don't see in bold words or in red letters as the words of Christ of faith. But what we are seeing the heart of this mother, of this wife who has lost her child, who has lost her husband. And a lot of times when people lose two people like that, and especially if they do have faith, they tend to lose it. And I believe that Jesus is seeing her heart, that he knows her heart. He walked right by her and saw that her heart was still focused on God, that whatever happened, that she will glorify God. And that's the purpose of our lives, is to glorify God in everything we do. And I believe that this woman was glorifying God through all the pain and all the suffering she was going through. And as one person in our study earlier today revealed, that this would have been a woman, if she has a lot of people with her, that means a lot of people in the community thought very highly of her, probably even looked up to her. And that it shows that even when bad things happen, we're never alone. Jesus is showing this as an example that we're never alone, that he is right there with us, even if we can't see him. She didn't know that God reincarnated through Christ was walking with her, that was right next to her. She had no clue. She was just going about her business, trying to deal with us the best way she could. And it doesn't matter your circumstances or the pain you might be going through, Christ is right there with you. And I guarantee you can't see him. But we have to remember that he is there, and that he has compassion for us, and that he knows our heart, and that we should constantly, in our pain, in the good and the bad, and glorify God with all our actions. That's the purpose of our lives. That's what we can do as our first commandment, to love the Lord. We can glorify him. So let's